Here is one last Paska that's up for sale today. This is a chocolate lemon. I'm baking our original recipe, which is a cranberry orange. So soaked cranberries and candied orange peel on the inside of the Paska. Let's fire up the oven and go check on the proofing Paska, which has been in the proofer for like a whole day. All right, let's check on these. Here they are. They're just barely cresting over the edge of their forms, which is kind of where we want to see them. We don't really understand the science at this point. We've sort of broken even what maybe like AI tools can help explain. This is a sweet starter product, so it's a sourdough Paska. The fermentation time is ranging between 24 and 48 hours warm. So we're mixing, then shortly thereafter we're basically scaling it out and putting it in these forms, and then the product gets rolled here into a warm and humid space for not 8 hours, not 10, not 12, 24, and then from there we wait until we get just this volume. The team has left for the day. I happened to be here late in the day, and they were like, can you bake these? Because they could use a little bit more time. And the last time we baked them, we realized there was a difference between 24 and 36 hours and 36 hours and 48. But because it's a sourdough product, it's kind of all over the place. Some days it's 24. The most it's been is 48. So if you want to make these, they're really amazing and special, but they can be a little bit temperamental on the final proof. So this is what they should look like. They look good though. All right, let's get them up front. Should be ready to load in the oven. My relationship to Paska goes back to 2022. And it's relatively well documented on our YouTube channel. So if you want to really understand why it is that here in Arizona there's a random bakery making not only Paska but a unique sourdough Paska, well, there is a backstory. I was originally introduced to Paska by my friend Anna, who is a Ukrainian baker, and it was during the early days of the war escalation that we were collaborating on a project. We were actually helping fundraise for that bakery. And it was Easter season, so Paska was one of the things that the bakery that we were fundraising for in Ukraine made and gave away to people who were impacted by the war. I was far away from Ukraine at the time, so I didn't get to try this sort of product that well, you know, we were helping to have made, and I learned, you know, it's this super important part of the holiday. There's a lot of symbolism around it. It's a symbol of hope, and so I really wanted to make this product. We made it for the first time last year. Turned out pretty well. This year I got to actually send one to my friend that originally introduced me to Paska. She's now in San Francisco, and so we shipped her one, and she said it's a beautiful, high quality Paska, and she's like pretty to the point, not really like embellishing in her words, but I was really taken by that. It was a nice compliment. We have a Ukrainian team member who helped us make this recipe. She said it's the best Paska she's had. She grew up eating it. So basically from the source, there's high praise for this particular Paska. And you can come into the bakery during Easter season and pick one up. So they'll be around basically through Orthodox Easter. So If you don't get your hands on it before regular Easter, or let's say Roman Catholic Easter, you have an extra week thereafter. So in this case, for 2026, it's April 12th. That will be the last day of Paska at Proof. Oven's warm. Gonna give this 10 seconds of steam, and we're gonna set a timer initially for 20 minutes to see what happens after that. Here's the final product. This is what you can expect if you come into the bakery and pick one up. They're beautifully wrapped, so they make a really nice gift as well. Maybe something you can bring over to Easter. You can come in last minute and pick one of these up, although the closer you come to the holiday, probably the harder it will be to snag one, and probably the earlier in the day you want to come in. Right now, still have plenty of time before Easter, so a little bit easier to get your hands on one. Two different varieties. This is the standard one, the one that we made last year. It's actually finished with a white fondant and then two different edible flowers, yellow and blue, so for kind of the Ukrainian flag. The other one is a chocolate lemon Paska, and it features candied lemon from my own garden. Yes, I candied a lot of lemon over the last couple of months from my Meyer lemon trees, and we made a special second version of the Paska for this week. So yeah, you can come in and enjoy one. Let's go see how the ones in the oven are shaping up. This is exactly why I ended up doing this bake hours after the last production staff member left. That extra couple hours of proofing. These things have only been baking for 6 minutes, and you can see, I mean, they're literally blowing the lids off of these containers. They're several, I would say like they're 2 inches taller than the finished Paska that we have out for sale today. And it goes to show you can get a lot of volume if you push the proof enough. The issue we're facing with such an advanced product, I mean, I don't think people quite will ever realize, unless they make this, that a dough as heavy as the Paska has no business being a sourdough, unless it's done by people that really understand sourdough. At some point, we need to do a mix together of the Paska, because you'll see like the amount of sugar, the amount of fruits in the dough. It's wild that the dough even comes together cohesively by the end. It's just barely cohesive. It's so rich with butter. It's so rich with sugar and fruit that 24 hours into warm fermentation, actually a special molecule forms. It's called a dextran. It only forms in long fermented applications that are super enriched with enough sugar content. I think it's like a 10% mark you have to reach in order to form this molecule. And it's the type of carbohydrate that basically humans find like irresistible. So the final like velvety texture of Paska is like nothing else that we make. It's just sort of next level. It's the kind of decadence that should come out for a holiday. And of course, you know, it's special, it's a little bit more expensive, but that's what bakers have been doing for centuries, is basically bringing out the best of what they know how to make for the special days. So that's Paska here at Proof, and I hope you can try it, because, you know, after all, it only comes around for a small period of time once a year. All right, oven rack is dropping, about to beep. Let's see if these are ready. We can bake them for a few minutes longer if necessary, but I'll stick a thermometer in there and see what we get. Okay, they need a few more minutes. They're temping at 185 degrees Fahrenheit. That's probably good enough, but I'd rather not push it. So just give them 3 minutes. I'm looking for 195 and up. Rack is slowing down. It's about to stop, drop, and then we can open up the oven, give it a final test. I think these are good to go now. Rack just stabilized. Now it's lowering. Now we're at a passing temp, so I can pull the rest of them out. And they are just gorgeous.